while seeing an Australian football team practicing in Jaffa is a strange sight. Even odder is the fact that they are advancing peace. The Australian football team is made up of both Israeli Jews and Arabs and Palestinians living in the West Bank, and many of the players don't even speak a common language.
And when everyone's out on the field, just playing the game, nothing really needs to be spoken. Someone does a good kick, you tap them on the back. Someone does something wrong, people will know what's going on. Slowly but surely, people start to get used to one another and trust one another.
The Paris Centre Peace Team will participate in the World Cup of Australian football in Sydney later this week. There, they will be representing Israel and the Palestinians. The coach of the Peace Team, Kevin Nafty, spent his teenage years in Australia after emigrating from South Africa.
No, I think for me it was more of an advantage that I was an Ole here, because I can kind of be more Australian than Israeli or Palestinian, so I kind of have more of that neutral perspective.
Kevin and a few other expat Australians helped the Paris Centre put together the team, meant to promote peaceful cooperation between Israelis and Palestinians. Yet despite efforts to the contrary, politics still present challenges for the athletes.
One of the Palestinian players, our captain actually, who's not here tonight, he was an anti-normalization with Israel website, a Palestinian site, publicized a whole bunch of photos of him on the site and said how he was collaborating with Israel and spying with Israel, and it turned a bit nasty, and that the whole community found out about the website. There were some really bad things written in the forum about him on the Palestinian side, and so these things happen.
Unfortunately, none of the Palestinian players from the West Bank agreed to be interviewed due to fears of criticism from their community. But the youngest player on the team, Saeed Barhom, said that as an Israeli Arab from the Ein Rafa village near Mevaseret, he helps bridge the gap between the players. During practices, he acts as a translator from Hebrew to Arabic, and he says that he somewhat understands both sides of the team.
אבל תכלס אני לא מבין אותם כמו שהם, לא, הם מרגישים אחרת, אני מרגיש, ערבי מרגיש בעצמו משהו אחר ממה שאני מרגיש, אני לא ערבי שחי איתם, שקורא איתי כל המקרים שקוראים אותם וזה.
The Australian World Cup is an international championship that happens every 3 years, in which Australians are not allowed to participate. It is intended to promote Australian culture around the world. Although most of the players grew up watching soccer, they all think that Aussie football has a Middle Eastern take that appeals to Jews and Arabs alike.
זה שיש בו מכות זה טוב.
Benjamin Spear reporting for the Jerusalem Post.